Welcome to the Operation STRIX podcast. I am your host, LaCroix. Joining me today, as always, are Cool Blue Rays
Hey guys.
and Roski Draftsman.
Yo.
And so we're here to talk about the latest chapter, Mission 60, and also briefly go over Mission 59 because I don't know what I'm doing 90% of the time, and me and Blue recorded an episode a couple weeks back, and turns out it didn't record. So we're gonna kind of go back and retread our steps a little bit on that one. Yeah, but first of all, let's go ahead and break down this latest chapter because I will give it to Endo. He knows how to keep me on my toes because I don't think any of us were expecting a Fiona Frankie chapter.
No.
Yeah.
I thought for 1 second that they're gonna maybe play around with that idea. Then I thought, for 1 second, I'm like, maybe I seen things like that in other manga, and I thought maybe. But I was like, nah, they're gonna do something.
Yeah.
Something else. And then, no! Wow! That one-time hunch I had once actually was spot on. I was like, what the hell?
Nostradamus Frankie, Roski over here.
Oh, God.
Well,
it's a good idea in concept, actually. If you think about it,
but that's the thing. Like nobody thought about it. Because okay, so I said we were gonna wait till after to discuss the last chapter. But okay, so the last chapter, I guess now would be a good time to bring it up. It was Becky, basically simping over Lloyd and finally getting to meet Lloyd. We finally had the fated encounter between Becky and Mr. Forger. And it was great, yeah, but...
It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was a fun-ass chapter.
It was so good. It was cute. It was adorable.
Ragdolling George still gets me.
Right. Me and Blue had a very detailed conversation about the intricacies of child imagination and you know...
Basically, you know,
kind of
kids trying too hard to grow up and not completely understanding what adulthood actually is. But, you know, they're seeing examples of it in media, and they just assume, they copy that, thinking, oh, that's what it's really like.
Right.
You know, because, you know, Becky is obsessed with her Berlin in Love show, which is, you know, a telenovela, which means it's going to be super messy.
Oh, yes.
And not have very healthy examples of relationships. But that's apparently some of the only relationships Becky knows, so it makes sense that she would try to copy those things with Lloyd.
And coupled with the chapter before that, which all right, we're really getting deep in here. I also recorded something but I nixed it because I didn't think it was a sound theory, which it ended up turning out somewhat true, so I guess I punked myself on that one. But that coupled with the Bond Man mini chapter that we got, we kind of all assumed, right, that it was going to be something involving like relationships, if Lloyd was going to get involved.
And the timing of the chapters, you know. Becky's was February 6th? Yeah, February 6th, and then today's, this recent chapter was February 20th. Yeah. That's like, they're smack right between the week of Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it totally makes sense to me that Endo would plan out, oh, we should do some kind of Valentine's-y comedic Spike's Family Love chapter. But yeah, not seriously, just like super jokey.
Right. Exactly.
Because, you know, Bond Man is a man whore. I can't believe that got approved on television for children.
Right.
He got the Joker ending, so...
Yeah, listen, it's anime, it's manga.
Yeah.
So, did you want to hop back off of that? Did you have another thought to finish on that? Or do you mind if I hop in?
No, go for it. Just really funny. Fiona being in love is always really funny.
It's like, okay, so yeah, like the whole.
It's funny in a second-hand embarrassment way, but it's really funny either way.
It is, and then like so I appreciate the fact that like Endo like started it off with like it wasn't okay, so it was still Fiona being Fiona, but it wasn't over the top. Like we still got like it was her with Lloyd, and at first they're being very, very professional, and like even afterwards she was like she was still obviously doing like, oh my god, I'm doing everything for Lloyd, blah blah blah, but it was like she was very business, and then it just like immediately just turns to shit once like she like Frankie enters the picture, and I love that. I just love he is like her foil right off the bat.
Yeah, it was great. Frankie's not a very intimidating guy. He's just really smart with mechanics. You know, he wants a girlfriend really badly.
Just god damn,
He
dude,
just
like
wants
stop
a,
trying so
he
hard.
just wants he just wants a girlfriend so bad.
And he thinks it's Fiona, and then immediately recognizes that, like, oh god, I do not want to get involved with this woman. Like,
Yeah,
well, he does, but he
like,
doesn't.
This is the kind of dynamic that I was talking about.
Okay, so
yeah.
let's go over the fact. Okay, so Frankie, Frankie is paranoid, as I mean, someone in his position should be, but he has a boulder in his
Indiana Jones
his
style?
house or apartment, whatever it is. And he's just like constantly waiting behind the door with a gun, like it's
And a fun little sack for a mask.
right. I love his shirt.
Oh yeah,
Bear and
chicken
chicken.
bear.
Yeah, that
I
Literally in the same pose. It is so
self
funny.
reference for the win, but
it really is. It's
why is it a bear?
in Lloyd's chair. Yeah, I don't get that shirt. I want that shirt. I'm gonna Broski, get on that. We need to sell merch, Broski. We need a bear and chicken shirt.
Oh, we should mention the thing where they're like, well, you know, Fiona was like, Frankie Franklin, what a stupid name.
Frankie Franklin. Oh my
like,
god.
Girl Fiona Frost.
Busted.
What the hell?
You won't believe. I was like, oh my god! Like I laughed so hard. I didn't read the part where it's just his alias, but like, what if that was really his name? Like, it wouldn't surprise me in the least bit.
I just have to say that, like, every time there's always a new chapter, I never know quite what to expect unless I know it's like an arc. Every time it's like a one-off mini adventure,
Yeah.
I never know what to expect or predict usually.
Oh yeah.
Because Endo always does really crazy things with his characters.
Yeah.
Not
Who saw the
super-
One Man chapter coming?
The Bondman chapter? I
Yeah,
don't remember.
Like,
I don't
nobody
remember.
saw it
but-
coming. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
no,
yeah,
no
what's
one,
gonna be
no one
next?
saw it coming.
Yeah.
No one would have ever seen that coming. That Bondman was just like
This is a
he's
slut.
dating
Yeah.
all the ladies for something, for some reason,
Right.
I mean, he's
for a
James
mini
Bond.
thing.
James
And
Bond
so
does
like
this
that's I guess. Well, we could talk more about the details of the chapter later, but like this chapter, I believe, is the last in the volume. At least that's what
Oh.
Tari was saying. And
I think so.
so usually with the last chapter, they usually set it up for the following arc, and I it feels very much that like the previous chapters were setting up for this chapter, and this chapter ends with Fiona basically telling Frankie, I've got another job for you in the future, and like what did she say? She says she's looking for people who do you know of any acquaintances who forge fine art, and do you know of any good safe crackers? I don't know if this is another heist that we're looking at in the future, but one that involves Fiona and Frankie. And then on top of that, I don't know if that also implies that we're gonna, with all of this like romance stuff going on in the background, are we gonna get Fionki? Is Fionki gonna happen?
I think
I don't think it happened that soon. No.
Of course, it's gonna take time, but I do think that's where the manga's heading.
I can see it.
I'm just throwing it out there. I ship it. As you can tell by my new alias on the Discord.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like what Frankie says. He says like, I like to shake things up with a little trouble sometimes. Guess I'm going through a rebellious phase. Like I like that he's kind of a chaotic agent. You know, he's not really tied to Wise per se, but he does help them out. But I guess he's kind of like I think he's like a chaotic good character at the very least.
I don't.
Like he's a little chaotic, but he's usually a pretty good guy. I don't think he'd be giving out mega weapons to super villains or something.
So it's funny you say that. Like a long time ago, I'm saying like 2 years ago, I was like, I wanted to make a D&D Square alignment chart for Spy Family characters, and like for chaotic evil, I put Frankie, and I didn't put that as like Frankie is evil per se, but it's just like everything he does is like for himself and like his own like, you know, ideals. And he's also chaotic, so I'm like, yeah, he fits. And like this chapter kind of like reaffirmed that for me. Like he basically, I mean, he openly admits that he's like, no, I really don't have any ideals. He's just like, I just don't like how they do things, and like I don't agree with it, so I'm gonna fuck with their shit. And like, you know, that's kind of an asshole move, but at the same time, like I love him as a character for it. Like, yeah, like we had a discussion literally a couple days prior. I think it was MJ or SK who came up with that character tier list, and like she put Frankie. Oh yeah, she put Frankie in A tier, and I was like, no, he's not an A tier character. Like he's much lower. He should be lower than that. And then this chapter came up, and I'm like, okay, never mind. He's A tier to me. Like,
I think it was Mama Fairy.
Was
that
it
the account that made? I don't think it was SK or MJ, but I don't quite. I'm trying to check. Oh no, it was my made that tier list.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but yeah, I do like Frankie's character. I think he's, well, you know, I didn't really know what else to make of him except that he's like the mechanical genius who really wants a girlfriend. Like kind of selfish, but not a terrible guy. I mean, Lloyd likes him well enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, after this, I was like, oh, I'm a little. Well, you know, I was very interested. I'm always interested whenever we get some more juicy character meat or world building meat.
Yes.
You know, Endo likes to put them in the important chapters, and you know, this is definitely an important chapter for both Frankie and Fiona. We got to learn a little bit more about how they act with other people, especially like how Fiona works. I mean, she's not really much of a team player. We already knew that.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, like, it was kind of nice that Frankie was telling her that you need to trust people a bit more. You know, you have to build some other relationships in order to, you know, make things happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Basically, and not just focus on trying to get Lloyd to love you. Like, there are other people, and they're also important kind of thing, I guess. Because Fiona is always very tunnel vision about making sure that Lloyd is going to love her. That she does everything for Lloyd. And, you know, not healthy whatsoever.
Right, that's,
she really
that's
needs
a good
to learn
point.
To find other people.
I didn't... Honestly, I didn't really think of it that way. But you're right. Like, it's very much... I mean, it does tie in to the end of the story where, whereas when she first meets Frankie, you know, she's just like, I need this. I don't care how, what, when, why. Just do it.
Right.
And by the end, she's like, look, I'm relying on you. Like, I trust you, you know, which is probably more than she... That's saying a lot, because Lloyd didn't trust anyone either to begin with. So... I feel like she's slowly starting to become her own character in a small sense in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I see a lot of potential for her. I see a lot of potential for all the like characters, main and side. And I think Endo is really trying to give him some more love and attention and show that, they're more than the little bits and pieces. They're like the jokes. They're more than their jokes,
Mm-hmm.
whether they're being made fun of or are making fun of others kind of thing.
Right.
And I like that Endo wants to try and give them some more attention. And it definitely doesn't feel forced. It feels very natural. Like, oh, this would make total sense if these two characters were hanging out together. This makes total sense. Like, this is how they would interact and what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole thing with Frankie taking her to the bar and like saying like, "Yeah, I got a girlfriend, guys. Isn't it great?" And Fiona takes him in the back like, "I am going to shoot you if you don't shut the fuck up." And Frankie's like, "Sorry, I just really wanted to show off for a second that I
Right.
had a girlfriend, even though it's totally fake."
Oh.
But
Yeah.
I'm glad we do get those moments where I understand it's difficult for him because he is Endo is very busy. He has a limited window to work with because he only updates bi-weekly, and there's only so much you can do while also progressing the story. So like, yes, we are going to have those long droughts of characters not interacting with one another.
Right.
But like with
No.
this one, like what I was saying, like now Frankie is like A tier, character for me. We really got to see like what Frankie can do and like what his day to day life is. Like everything he does is coded. All of these people that he knows, trust him, and he trusts
Right.
them.
He has a
And
good network of people as well, like, that help out the wise agents, which is quite honestly pretty impressive because, we had all assumed that, oh, Frankie works for Wise and that all
No.
the other guys also work. It's like, no, they're like all independent agents that just happen to get reached out to by chance by these spies all the time,
It makes more
apparently.
sense that way, actually, which is
No,
interesting.
yeah.
yeah,
I think it definitely was like, not what I expected, but I like that. And it's like, it still makes a lot of sense, even though this other way seems like
I
it
mean, I
made
think that
sense.
that's actually like really, really clever because I mean, the idea that he had a network was already like mentioned before when he called like a dozen people to find that dog cat, what?
Kopi the cat.
The cat,
Oh
yeah, the cat.
yeah.
But like the idea that they are like all playing to their own devices and advantages, like yeah, I'm gonna play ball with you, but because it's convenient for me, that's that's just really, really fitting for the Cold War environment because
Yeah.
because double crossing was the order of the day during the Cold War. Like
Yeah.
everyone was out there to get you. Like
Mm-hmm.
so, the fact that Frankie is that paranoid and that he isn't even on Wise's side in full, at least, or that all the things like wow, yeah, it's like another reminder that despite the comedic tone of the manga, if something goes wrong, it will go really wrong. So they have to
Right.
to,
And
to
and
step carefully.
yeah, and adding on to that, we were talking about not being able to trust pretty much anybody. The whole bit. So like after the whole scene at the club, and Fiona comes back and tells Frankie that she needs him again, and he's like, "Hey, were you the one who called the SSS on us?" And
Oh
it's
God.
implied that she did just to like get
Hmm.
her point across. So
Yeah,
like,
stage that whole thing.
right, and the fact that I don't know how to feel about it because on the one hand it is very on character for Fiona, and I would like to see it brought up again in the future if she did. It's implied that she did. It's not outright stated, but if that
Right.
is the case, and we do get like a more, or if we do get an arc with Fiona and Frankie, I want it to be brought up again. Like hey, that was fucked up. Like you could have killed us. Like that sort of thing. Because Frankie, for as paranoid and as chaotic as Frankie is, he trusts Lloyd. So the fact that when Fiona first entered his house or whatever, and she drops the line and reveals that Lloyd was the one who sent her, Frankie immediately trusts her because he trusts Lloyd.
Right.
That is a serious breach of Frankie and Lloyd are the only ones who trust each other, as much shit as they give one another. Lloyd's no, you don't have to worry about it, Frankie's got you. And if Fiona were to come into that on Lloyd's goodwill and set Frankie up with the SSS on a whim, not even in no guilt or anything like that, I think that would be a huge character moment right there. And that's something that I would like to see from Fiona, because that's a huge opportunity for growth, I feel or at the very least confrontation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thinking about that, that detail specifically, I think of I'd learned two things from that. Basically, is that one, Fiona is way too overconfident in her own abilities, to be staging something like that and risking other people's lives to get her own way, and two, that she and Lloyd definitely would not always see eye to eye, because I could never see Lloyd doing that to someone.
No.
No, definitely not. I mean, the farthest he ever went to doing that was faking being an SSS officer with Frankie for, Fiona, but he never actually get the SSS involved or something.
No,
because he's not an idiot. He wouldn't do something like that, and he would never risk anyone like that. But Fiona's willing to, because she is. Well, she's supposed to be a very cold character, and they weren't they definitely weren't lying. She is very cold. But a lot of people, really. I mean, even seems more so with Twilight.
I mean, chapter 1 established that, so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, in a way, that's a funny prospect, because from the very, very basics of their ethics, she's actually really opposite from Lloyd.
Right.
He wouldn't at any point risk people if he could avoid it.
Yeah, she versus Lloyd, it makes me think of basically Lloyd would rather try and save as many, everyone. He wants to save everyone. Fiona is oh, I'm willing to risk a few people to save the rest, kind of thing, instead of trying to, I don't know, save everyone.
Not even everyone. Literally just Lloyd. Everything she does.
That's
is for Lloyd.
that is true. She's I mean, maybe Lloyd is a bit more idealistic in that sense, but he's just very strong in his convictions that he wants there to be peace no matter what. He'll do whatever it takes for peace.
Yeah.
And for Fiona, she's oh, I want peace, but I'm also doing it for Lloyd, which is actually interesting. I wonder if this means that her motivations are all tied to Lloyd, and what the hell's gonna happen to her once she finally understands that Lloyd will never reciprocate her feelings. Do you think she might go bad? She might betray them?
Yeah.
Or
oh no.
I don't know. Sorry. I know that's angst. I'm sorry.
No.
I would hate that. I hate when characters are done that way. It reminds me of.
Okay, to that, I don't think, and we had this discussion earlier. I don't think, hypothetically speaking, if we were to get an arc, based around Fiona, I don't think it would be a betrayal arc. You know what I mean? I don't think betrayal is what Endo is going for with Fiona. I think it's more of kind of what you're saying is confronting her misguidance, because she, I'm trying to set it up, but she, like what you said, she's very much tied to what Lloyd is about, and I think everything that she does is for Lloyd's benefit, but it is very utilitarianistic almost, in that the means justify the ends, and so long as there's peace, it doesn't matter how you attain that peace. As long as Lloyd gets what he wants, which is peace between the East and West, then it's fine in her eyes. So, in that sense,
Right.
calling the SSS on Frankie and them, that makes total sense because at the end of the day, she's going to get what she wants, which is for the mission to be complete to further peace between East and West. So, it doesn't matter if a few people get killed.
Right.
Yeah, and
I
I
further
want.
want to add on to that.
Yeah.
I think Fiona is definitely kind of a person who she sees the whole picture. Like, yeah, there'll be some people who get hurt along the way, but the whole picture is more important than the more, I guess, closer look. The was it macro versus micro level sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Versus Lloyd, he very much is on the micro level where he like interacts with people every day and makes these connections with people and very much cares when he sees people up close and personal getting hurt or being affected by things. Like he'll go out of his way to help them out. Versus Fiona, I definitely think she would. Maybe she would. Maybe she'd be less likely to as she grows. But I think at this point, her character would be more likely to turn a blind eye to that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because like, oh, it doesn't necessarily benefit me directly, so why should I spend my time and energy per se, putting in extra effort for other people when they don't matter for the bigger picture of my goals and whatnot. I think that's where Fiona kind of is at, as a person right now, and as a spy in general. Versus Lloyd, he's very much every time he interacts with someone, and every time they're in trouble, he goes out of his way to help them out, whether he knows it or not. I mean the whole chapter with Bond, like he followed Bond into a burning building and saved a puppy because he wanted to help out. He wasn't just gonna like leave the puppy there or something. I think if it had been Fiona in that case, I don't quite know if she would have saved the dog.
No.
You know,
I don't
I don't know.
know.
I think that's just where Fiona's character is right now as a person,
So,
and
I,
it's messed up, but it's interesting.
okay, so I have kind of something to posit to you two. So,
Okay.
what Fiona is like right now, I'm thinking this as I speak it, is how Lloyd was at the beginning of the series. Because if you recall, Lloyd was completely willing to abandon Anya the moment he found out she got kidnapped. Like, he had no intention of going to save her. He was like, I'm going to find a new kid. I'm going to start over. Nobody's going to find out who I am. And then...
Yeah, they crossed her mind.
Right.
His mind, yeah.
He... and then, not even a couple chapters after that, I believe it was the third chapter, where...
Yeah, the thief, no?
What was that?
The thief.
Yeah,
Like,
the thief. He was like, well, that's on her for getting her purse stolen. I'm not going to get involved.
And then Yor went down there and beat his ass to the ground.
Well, Lloyd helped a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. It was good.
But I definitely feel that his family, Yor and Anya, have inspired him to try and be a better person.
Exactly. I
basically.
I
think
that
warms my fucking heart for sure.
Well, that's a thing too. Is so. I'm just spitballing right now. So I'm thinking, Lloyd, as he was, because he was Nightfall's teacher, she is how he was originally, because that is the person that she knew that she emulated. She did not see. Right, she did not see him until chapter 30, and that was that was months after him becoming Lloyd Forger and him having Yor and Anya and all these people to kind of rehabilitate him in a sense.
Yeah.
And that's why when she sees him again after all of this time, she's like, "Who are you? You're not the Twilight that I know." Like, and of course she blames Yor and all that stuff, but like,
oh right.
Afterwards.
Right. So like, is this going to be, or are we going to see Nightfall going through a similar change of character? Whether it be slowly or abruptly.
I mean,
Frankie isn't really like Yor, so I don't think Fiona would be inspired by Frankie per se to become a better person. However, I don't know. I get the feeling that maybe somehow even Yor could help change Fiona for the better if she somehow became unexpected friends or just hung around more. But I have no way of knowing for sure if that would really
No.
happen. Fiona just seems to kind of be around, but she's like in the background most of the time. Um,
It's an interesting thought, huh?
Roski, what do you
I
I
think?
mean,
don't think.
you know, it is interesting that you mentioned that Fiona is probably acting the way Lloyd used to because, you know, I'd like to think that Lloyd might see that and recognize that, oh shit, I used to be like that. I used to be what Fiona is right now. Maybe I kind of screwed her up by, you know, teaching her to be this way. Who knows?
Maybe.
Maybe
That's
he'd be able to help her. I don't know. Maybe he'd be willing to help her try and be a better person because he feels kind of guilty that he turned her into this really cold, calculating person in the first place who doesn't
huh.
make a lot of connections with people. But you know, not in a romantic sense. Obviously, it's just that he wants to try and help her because she should have more for her life than just being a spy. Especially a spy who's just focused on Lloyd's happiness more than her own
Her own
happiness.
happiness. I mean, Lloyd isn't even focused on his own happiness. So, uh, I mean, part of me started thinking about this sad irony that Nightfall is so focused, so invested in trying to make Lloyd happy because, like, it's one of her driving motivations. But she learned how to act as a spy from a man that isn't even looking for his own happiness. Like, chapter one, he sees himself as expendable, like a means to an end.
True.
Prepare to die at any moment. So, what kind of messed up mixture of motivations and views has she earned? Because his mentor is already messed up with that perception of what he is. Because
Very true.
he, I mean, he thought him heard that, like we are expendables or spies. No, we are just the means of an end. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Which was the gateway from that joke of, oh Lord, you're a little hypocrite, and I don't know what the hell she said in the tennis hour. But I mean, we are seeing like she's established as a foil to Lloyd because she's starting to warm up while she's cold. But then Frankie is a foil to that as well because because while
foil
Lloyd
to a foil.
sees himself as expendable, Frankie is operating all by himself. So
Right.
there's gonna be some game of back here.
Yeah.
Like
So
like
I have a question for you. Well, kind of both of you, but so both of you have expressed that you want to see Fiona suffer more. This is various podcasts
different ways, but
certain
yeah.
points in time.
I
So
was
like,
taken out of
okay,
context.
what do you mean by that, Roski? Like, why do you want to see her suffer more? Like Fiona as a character suffer more? Because I think that ties into a little bit to what you're talking about.
Okay. Like the really simple answer, like universally speaking, is that suffering often builds character. Well, I don't want to say like no suffer no gain or anything like that, but
The opportunity to build character.
I mean, yeah, like when things go awry for any character, that's often the moment that some aspects of their character forge, that they are forced to reconsider where they are, what they are doing, what their views are. Like, I mean, okay, not trying to go into a tangent here, but that like one of the key elements in one of my main favorite manga series, that is Berserk. They go a little ham with it, but many
Oh, yeah.
characters, many characters that experience hardship are confronted with their with how they view themselves because their hardships, that hardship like pulls the rug under them and forces them to rethink what they are doing and how they are doing it. So the idea of like pulling Nightfall's rug and seeing her fall on the floor and seeing her like many of her views pushed against will pretty much force her to rethink, what am I doing? Why am I willing to sacrifice my life for someone that probably doesn't even love me back the way I want it?
Right.
Because Twilight cared for her. Like, let's be clear about that. She sees her as her pupil and mentee and all that, but nothing tells us he's interested in her that way. So if something came to if there was some pushback, even like Lloyd calling her out, like, what the hell are you doing? But for instance, if he finds out about this instance of her impliedly calling on the SSS, and he chews her on that,
yeah,
it will be like, I thought I understand how this man operates. I was wrong. Or
okay,
what am I doing? I risked the very mission we are fighting for the sake of impressing someone that now I'm disappointing because I missed the point of what he's actually doing.
Yeah,
no, that
as you said,
those are like
it's her confronting, basically her whole outlook on things. And jumping off to that, Blue, let me ask you a question. What do you think Fiona's response would be to her having to confront, I guess, because you touched on it a little bit earlier, but like, what do you think Fiona would like do when it came to the realization that, like, okay, yeah, Lloyd's not gonna fall for her, like, everything she's done up until this point is kind of just been for the sake of someone who doesn't love her. So like, what do you think? I mean, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. What do you think is going to be her next course of action after that?
Well, I think that answer kind of depends on what happens with her growth as a person. Because in the most ideal sense, she would hopefully get to a place where her realizing that Lloyd doesn't love her would not be the end of her world. She'd be able to accept it and move on from it and maybe focus on herself or focus on other important aspects of her life. In the most ideal sense, if she had truly grown as a person, truly come to understand that, her motivations being tied to this one person isn't good for her, and, isn't going to do her any favors if this person is never going to feel anything for her back, never reciprocate her feelings in any way, and there's nothing she can really say or do about it. Like, if this happens, or if this will happen, or when she's still kind of in that headspace where I'm doing all of this for Lloyd, I'm sacrificing, I'm working as hard as I can because it's all for Lloyd. I mean, I think she probably wouldn't take it very well.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know exactly what that means for her, though. I don't know what that's going to look like. Is she going to have some kind of breakdown? Is she just going to cry a lot? Is she going to try and kill Yor?
What do you think? Do you think it will go to the point where she does go bad, like you were saying earlier? Like, I don't mean like Fiona's gonna go like kind of full just, like, SSS, me
rambling.
But, like...
I mean, that was me more rambling. I don't think she'd actually go and betray the entire thing. Maybe at the very least, I mean, it's like what Roski said about maybe she'd actually learn something from that, as painful as it is. Maybe it will help her realize some very important things about herself that she hadn't thought about or hadn't realized before, because she still loved Lloyd and was fully convinced that, I can make him love me if I work really, really hard at this. you know, and do everything for him, he'll realize it one day and he'll love me back.
Mm-hmm.
Because Fiona, like, I'll give her this. She definitely doesn't try to show off the fact that she's doing this for Lloyd. She just does it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just really hoping he's going to notice and see that someday and really love and appreciate her. And I'm really sorry to say, but Lloyd's kind of a dumbass. I don't think that's going to happen
That's an
anytime
understatement.
soon.
And I mean, natural real love doesn't work that way, so.
Yeah, no, exactly. See, exactly. Real love doesn't work that way. Fiona, like Becky, like some of the other
Yeah.
characters, they have some skewed ideas of what real love is.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, technically, Lloyd also has that problem. He doesn't really know what real love is because he's never had real love. He's faked being in love
Mm-hmm.
for missions. We know that for sure. But he doesn't know what real love is. Fiona doesn't know what real love is. Frankie wants real love, but he just can't seem to get it.
He's trying too hard. I already said it.
I think Fiona, not Fiona. Sorry, I meant Yor. I think Yor and Anya are the only characters who understand what true love is, because Anya loves her family, and Yor also loves her family. She loves her brother. Like, they understand those forms of love, and those are very strong connections for them. They just don't obviously know the romantic ones, the romantic sense of that word,
Right.
and neither does any of the other characters. It feels like I feel like ultimately most of the main characters, or even some of the side characters, what they understand the most is what they have in common is that they don't really know what love is, or they have really skewed ideas of what love is supposed to be or what love could be. And I'm hoping ultimately they're all going to learn and grow what real love can mean for them, even if it's, obviously not what they expected. I mean, most of it is played up for laughs because this is a comedy.
Yeah,
but there's definitely an underlining sense of sadness, I feel, just for all the characters, knowing that they don't really have the best sense of love in the most healthiest
I
of
guess
ways.
that's one of the
I
recurring
think the only
themes.
character that probably knows romantic love is Handler, and we know that didn't end well. So
Right.
Well, we assume it
like,
didn't end
that
well.
is really telling, actually. Like, the only character that probably had a genuine, maybe healthy romantic relationship got squashed in that end. So the rest of the people here are like,
McMahon was married, or might be
maybe.
still
Right,
married. We
right.
don't know anything yet, but
I hope he's still married. I hope he's a very happily married man.
happily
It would be
married with
nice.
Mrs. McMahon.
It will be
It
a
would be
nice
nice.
change of pace. It will be a good shift, because God, these people.
Right.
All
They
these poor
really-
characters really need some healthy healthy relationships, not just romantic, but like healthy. I mean,
I need a hug.
look at fucking like Damien. His father doesn't actually care about him, and Damien tries so hard to get his approval or even get his attention, and Desmond's just sitting here like, yeah, no, you're like a stranger to me, basically.
Yeah.
How can you say that about your own
no,
fucking
Damien.
son, you
Right.
psychopath?
And you know what? It's interesting. Like, now that you said it out loud, I'm thinking about it. Like understanding and finding love is a really big part of this manga, and it's not really explicitly stated or discussed, but it is, and I think
It's
that
definitely
ties
there,
into
yeah.
the idea of understanding each other, and I think that kind of lends itself to understanding love in all of its forms, familial,
Yeah.
friendship, all of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess in a sense that the whole Fiona being caught up on Lloyd thing, it's played up for laughs. It is, it's a trope, but at the same time it fits with the theme of the story, I guess. So I don't know, maybe, I mean, if that's the case, then I believe we definitely will see a point where Fiona comes to terms or understands, her position with Lloyd as a mentor student and not as, lovers, because it's just that's just
Yeah.
not how it's meant to be. And hopefully she'll come to
ultimately
terms.
I just want all the characters to be happy and to find peace.
Right.
No matter what form that takes, I just want them to be okay.
Endo is very
Yeah.
good at making us care about the characters and giving them the opportunities to endear themselves to the reader, and also just to humanize them, like when like in the tennis arc when Lloyd confronts Fiona about going too hard, during the finals or whatever, and he's like, "Listen, I've lost a lot of friends, like." And Lloyd's never he says comrades, but like you never think of Lloyd as like having like attachments to anybody, but like he's lost people, and Yor has suffered throughout her entire life, and so has Anya, and it's like, but they keep on moving, they keep on growing as people, and that I think is part of the reason why this series is as popular as it is because people can see themselves in the characters. It goes to show that like not every shonen manga has to be a teenage boy with superpowers and a harem or whatever. Like there's a demographic for that, but like some people really just want to see people like them struggle and overcome and do the best that they can with what they have. You know what I mean? So yeah, what more can be said about that?
We did.
Does anybody have any closing comments about the chapter? Could be anything.
I only have one little note to make, and it's just that I like that at the end of the chapter we get a nice little view of Fiona looking up, closing her eyes and being like, I'll be back winning their job for you, and Frankie has like a little blush mark that was really cute.
Mm-hmm.
And then he ends it off with, I don't want to fucking work with you anymore, I'm gonna lose all my friends.
It's like, I'm not nuts.
Yeah,
Broski,
that's all
you
I
got
have
anything?
to say.
I don't think I do it.
I will just add that
it was just a pleasant surprise and an already pleasantly surprising Sunday.
True. I will just add that Fiona looked very fine in that disguise. I will give that to her.
Oh yeah.
I never thought I would say that.
I was gonna be the one bringing that up. So good thing you did, because
she looks good with long hair. Like, she should let it down more.
Yeah, but she clearly hates it. So
true.
Which is really funny.
I mean, like, she trying to go to do street talk. Oh, yeah, that's
Sup,
bro? Oh, I love that.
What's up?
Sup.
Sup.
I really like to imagine that she actually said that with kind of like some kind of slang accent kind of talk,
voice with it.
or something, like actual kind of language like that. It wasn't just like saying it in her normal voice. I think that'd be really funny.
Right.
I can't wait to see that animated. I love that I get to say I can't wait to see that animated.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be good. Oh my god,
I can't wait to see the dude with the strawberry for a head animated, because
that I want to see her grow. Because, I mean, I like her abilities. I like some of her flaws. I like how she looks. Not gonna lie, but she's just stuck in this perpetual cycle of, oh yeah, I'm gonna bring Lloyd into the conversation even when he is not fucking there.
Well, hopefully within the next arc or so, we'll see some development on her end. But like I said, I don't even try to think about what Endo's gonna do next, because he's just gonna throw it in my face. So.
Maybe we'll finally get Lloyd having to be confronted with his exes. I keep hoping that happens. Because I'm a terrible person.
Why do you want him to see him beating Persona 5 style?
To see him suffer, Roski. We just had this discussion.
We like seeing him suffer. I just love drama. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I just like seeing drama where exes show up for no reason.
We all do.
Oh my god.
I like to imagine that Yor will be thinking about, I wonder how I can kill them off, like in the You know, like, how
It
can I
was.
get rid of the competition? Literally get rid of the competition, because we all know Yor would beat them all up.
Oh yeah, I
So
mean
that's
she would
no,
demolish
there's no
them, but
question about that. I just think it's fun.
I just think
the,
it's
the
fun.
best part is she
I
would.
just think it's
Fair
fun.
enough.
I just like to see Lloyd sweat and worry about shit because I'm a terrible person. What can I say?
It's all right. We all are.
Bring back Karen, damn it. Hashtag,
All
hashtag
right.
bring back Karen.
Well, with
Damn it.
that, we're gonna go ahead and sign off. Thank you everybody for listening. We will hopefully not have any more audio problems. Cross my fingers on that one, and we will have another episode in the next couple of weeks or so. So, again, thank you guys for thank you Blue and Roski for doing this episode with me. I really appreciate it.
No
Of
problem.
course, always fun time. Always,
Always fun times.
Anytime.
always a fun time. Mm.
All right. Well, that's it from us, gang. We will see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.